Denny Hamlin told Michael Jordan the night before Kansas that he was going to win. Jordan said he believed him. Then Hamlin led 131 laps, finished fourth, and lost to his own team's driver. After the race, Jordan came straight to Hamlin's pit road with a big smile. Hamlin had been talking trash all weekend, and Jordan finally got to talk back. So, what did Jordan actually say to him on that pit road? Here is something most NASCAR fans do not fully think about. Denny Hamlin drives the number 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. He also co-owns 23XI Racing with Michael Jordan. That means every single race weekend, Hamlin is competing directly against his own team. He is trying to beat cars he partly owns, driven by drivers he partly pays. He will keep doing this through the end of next season. That is not a small thing. That is a man standing on two boats at the same time every weekend, knowing eventually one of them is going to pull away without him. And at Kansas, it finally got personal. The night before the AdventHealth 400 at Kansas Speedway, Michael Jordan had people over. Not just anyone. Ryan Blaney was there. Bubba Wallace was there. Riley Herbst was there. They watched the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race together and flipped over to the NBA playoffs. And sitting in that room, Hamlin looked at Jordan and made a promise. He said, "If something weird does not happen, Kansas is a guaranteed win." Jordan looked at him and said, "I believe you." But here is what Jordan said next, and this is the part that matters. After Hamlin made his prediction, Jordan turned to the room and said, "Yeah, I am worried about the 11. Denny said he is going to win. I am worried about the 11. Think about that." Jordan was in a room with 3 of his own 23XI drivers, and he was openly nervous about the guy he co-owns a team with, because he wanted to beat him. Now keep that Saturday night conversation in your head, because what happens Sunday is going to make it 10 times better. Hamlin was not bluffing on Saturday night. Through 274 laps at Kansas Speedway, Hamlin led 131 of them, more than anyone else in the race. His car was fast, his strategy was working, and for most of that afternoon, a win looked exactly like what he promised it would be. But Hamlin had noticed something in practice. The number 45 car, Tyler Reddick, looked a little quicker. Hamlin told Jordan, "I think the 45 was quite a bit better than us in practice, but we are good at making overnight adjustments." He believed his team closed the gap. He was wrong. Tyler Reddick won the race, his 5th win of the season. A 23XI Racing driver in a 23XI Racing car, beating the man who co-owns that team. Hamlin finished 4th. He led the most laps. He had the fastest car for long stretches, and he still lost. Hamlin was still on pit road after the race, sitting with everything that had just happened, when Jordan showed up, not to console him, not to check on him. Jordan came down to that pit road with one purpose. He came to collect. On FOX Sports, right after the race, Jordan said it himself. "Look, I am racing against Denny. I really wanted to beat him because I know we are going to talk a lot of trash a little bit later." Read that again. Jordan was not celebrating Tyler Reddick's 5th win of the season as an owner celebrating his team. He was celebrating beating Denny Hamlin. Those are 2 completely different things. And Hamlin, still stewing, knew exactly what was coming. Hamlin guaranteed a win to Jordan's face, in front of Bubba, in front of Herbst, in front of Blaney. And now Jordan was standing on his pit road, grinning. The next day, Hamlin sat down for his Actions Detrimental podcast and broke down exactly what happened inside his head. He said he did not expect Jordan to understand where he was emotionally right after the race, and he explained something important about how he normally handles 23XI wins. Every other time Reddick wins, Hamlin says he feels split. Happy and sad at the same time, depending on how his own race went. He has described it as being pulled in 2 directions. Not this time. He said this one was different. His emotions were 100% with Team 11. He was not happy for 23XI. He was not split. He was purely frustrated. Because he had told everyone it was a guaranteed win. And he came 4th. But here is the line from the podcast that tells you everything about this rivalry. Hamlin said, "He probably wants to beat me as much as anyone. Not as much as any other team owner. Not as much as any other competitor. As much as anyone in the entire field. Michael Jordan, co-owner of 23XI Racing, wants to beat Denny Hamlin more than he wants to beat anyone else on that track. And you have to ask yourself, how does a partnership like this actually work when the 2 people at the top are actively trying to beat each other? Here is what makes this unusual. 23XI had a genuinely strong day at Kansas. All 4 of their drivers finished in the top 15. Reddick won. Wallace came 5th. Herbst crossed in 14th. Corey Heim finished 15th. By any normal standard, that is a great Sunday for a team. But the story coming out of Kansas is not about 23XI's dominance. It is about 2 co-owners trash-talking each other the night before, one of them guaranteeing a win, and then losing to the other one's driver. That is because Hamlin and Jordan have built something inside their partnership that goes beyond the business. There is a real competition between them, not a fake, PR-friendly rivalry, a genuine Jordan-level need to win. And if you know anything about how Michael Jordan operates, you know that when he says he wants to beat someone, he is not using it as a figure of speech. This is the man who famously turned small disagreements into championships, who used locker room slights from 20 years earlier as fuel, who competed at a level where everything became a test. Now he is in NASCAR, and his biggest target is the guy sitting next to him at the ownership table. Jordan did not celebrate in the 23XI garage after the race. He walked to Denny Hamlin's pit road. That tells you where his head was. Hamlin is locked into Joe Gibbs, racing through the end of next season. That means this situation is not going away. Every race weekend, Hamlin will line up against his own cars. Every race weekend, Jordan will be watching and hoping the 23XI cars beat the number 11. And every race weekend, Hamlin will be doing the same thing in reverse. The trash talk before Kansas was not a one-time thing. Hamlin admitted on the podcast that he talks a lot of trash to Jordan. He called it hard to believe. But it is real, and it is constant, and Jordan gives it right back. Because that is the only way 2 competitors this serious can work together. They do not pretend the competition does not exist. They lean straight into it. They talk trash on Saturday night, they race on Sunday, and then whoever wins gets to collect on Monday. At Kansas, Jordan collected. And Hamlin, who led 131 laps and guaranteed a win the night before, had to sit with 4th place and listen to his co-owner on pit road. The title of this video says there was an internal rivalry on display at Kansas. But after everything you just heard, internal does not feel like the right word. This is not a rivalry that stays quiet inside a boardroom. It spills into Saturday nights with NBA playoffs, and O'Reilly races on in the background. It spills onto pit road after the checkered flag. It spills into a Monday morning podcast where Hamlin is still processing what happened. Denny Hamlin owns part of 23XI Racing. Michael Jordan co-owns it with him, and they are genuinely trying to beat each other every single Sunday. That is not internal, that is just competition. And when Michael Jordan is involved, it only ends one way. He wanted to beat Denny Hamlin more than he wanted to beat anyone else on that track. On Sunday at Kansas, he did exactly that.